ਪੰਜਾਬੀ ਰੇਡੀਓ USA ਸੁਣ ਰਹੇ ਸਾਰੇ ਹੀ ਮਾਣਯੋਗ ਅਤੇ ਸਤਿਕਾਰਤ ਸਰੋਤਿਆਂ ਨੂੰ ਬਹੁਤ ਹੀ ਪਿਆਰ ਸਤਿਕਾਰ ਸਹਿਤ ਦੋਨੋਂ ਜੁੜ ਕੇ ਨਿੱਕੀ ਜਿਹੀ ਸਤਿ ਸ੍ਰੀ ਅਕਾਲ ਸਭ ਨੂੰ ਜੀਆਂ ਨੂੰ ਆਖਦੇ ਹਾਂ। ਸਰੋਤਿਓ, ਅੱਜ ਦਾ ਇਹ ਜਿਹੜਾ ਇੱਕ ਵਿਸ਼ੇਸ਼ ਪ੍ਰੋਗਰਾਮ ਤੁਹਾਡੇ ਲਈ ਲੈ ਕੇ ਹਾਜ਼ਰ ਹੋਏ ਹਾਂ। ਇਸ ਪ੍ਰੋਗਰਾਮ ਦੇ ਵਿੱਚ ਤੁਹਾਡੇ ਅੱਜ ਰੂਬਰੂ ਇੱਕ ਐਸੀ ਸ਼ਖਸੀਅਤ ਨੂੰ ਜਿਹੜੀ ਆਪਾਂ ਕਰਾਉਣ ਜਾ ਰਹੇ ਹਾਂ, ਜੋ ਕਿ ਇਸ ਮੌਕੇ ਜਿਹੜੀਆਂ ਨਵੰਬਰ ਦੇ ਵਿੱਚ ਇਲੈਕਸ਼ਨਸ ਆ ਰਹੀਆਂ ਨੇ ਉਸ ਦੇ ਵਿੱਚ ਉਹ ਆਪਣਾ ਜਿਹੜਾ ਭਵਿੱਖ ਆ ਉਹ ਅਜਮਾ ਰਹੇ ਨੇ। ਇਹ ਅੱਜ ਆਪਣੀ ਗੱਲਬਾਤ ਜਿਹੜੀ ਹੁਣ ਹੋਵੇਗੀ ਅਲਾਮੀਡਾ ਜਿਹੜੀ ਕਾਊਂਟੀ ਸੁਪਰਵਾਈਜ਼ਰ ਪੋਜੀਸ਼ਨ ਦੇ ਲਈ ਮੌਜੂਦਾ ਡਬਲਿਨ ਦੇ ਮੇਅਰ ਡੇਵਿਡ ਹੌਬਰਟ ਜਿਹੜੇ ਆ ਉਹ ਆਪਣੇ ਨਾਲ ਜੁੜਨਗੇ। ਆਪਾਂ ਉਹਨਾਂ ਦੇ ਨਾਲ ਗੱਲਬਾਤ ਕਰਾਂਗੇ, ਉਹਨਾਂ ਦੇ ਬਾਰੇ ਜਿਹੜਾ ਉਹ ਆਪਾਂ ਜਾਣਾਂਗੇ ਕੀ ਉਹਨਾਂ ਦਾ ਮਿਸ਼ਨ ਹੈਗਾ ਆ, ਕੀ ਉਹਨਾਂ ਦੇ ਏਜੰਡੇ ਦੇ ਉੱਤੇ ਹੈਗਾ ਆ, ਕੀ ਕੁਛ ਜਿਹੜਾ ਆ ਅਲਾਮੀਡਾ ਕਾਊਂਟੀ ਦੇ ਲਈ ਉਹ ਕਰਨਾ ਚਾਹੁੰਦੇ ਨੇ, ਕੀ ਕੁਛ ਹੁਣ ਤੱਕ ਉਹਨਾਂ ਨੇ ਡਬਲਿਨ ਵਾਸਤੇ ਜਿਹੜਾ ਆ ਉਹ ਕੀਤਾ ਆ। ਸੋ ਉਸ ਦੇ ਬਾਰੇ ਜਿਹੜੀ ਆਪਾਂ ਜਾਣਕਾਰੀ ਹਾਸਲ ਕਰਨ ਦੀ ਜਿਹੜੀ ਉਹ ਕੋਸ਼ਿਸ਼ ਕਰਾਂਗੇ। ਅਤੇ ਆਓ ਹੁਣ ਆਪਾਂ ਉਹਨਾਂ ਦਾ ਸਵਾਗਤ ਕਰਦੇ ਹਾਂ, ਗੱਲਬਾਤ ਕਰਦੇ ਹਾਂ। David, Haubert, Sat Sri Akal, welcome to the show.
Raj, my friend, Sat Sri Akal. It's very good to be here.
So David, I was telling our listeners that we'll be talking to you today about your running your candidacy for Alameda County Supervisor position. So we'll know a little bit about you so people can decide and know their candidate for the Alameda County Supervisor position.
Yes, I would really like to thank you, Raj, and Punjabi Radio USA for this opportunity to share with the community about me, who I am, why I would like to run, why they should support me and vote for me, how important this race is, very important, and to just say thank you for the opportunity. I really appreciate it.
Yeah, we always welcome people who are running for these kind of positions, because everybody who's living in your county, they'll be impacted by these positions. They're going to make policies, they're going to be making decisions which are going to be impacting them for a long term. So why don't you tell us about yourself a little bit? The one thing I know from top of mind is you're currently the mayor of Dublin City.
Yes, so thank you. I have been the mayor of Dublin for the last 6 years, council member for 2 years, so 8 years total on the city council. 10 years before that, 10 years on the Dublin School Board. So for the last 18 years, serving the community of Dublin as a school board leader, council member, and mayor. During that time, we have accomplished so many great things. We built a wonderful school district, state-of-the-art, very high-performing school district. I'm very passionate about helping families and their children be successful, grow smart, go to good college if that's what they want, and become great leaders of their own. So for the last 18 years, I've been doing that. Dublin is a great place to live, work, and raise a family, and I want to bring that same community service to all of Alameda County, and especially to District 1. The District 1 for Alameda County Supervisor includes Fremont, Sunol, Dublin, and Livermore. So all my friends in those communities, I want to bring my capabilities and to serve them to make all of District 1 a great place.
That's awesome. That's good to hear. So Mayor David, so you've been a lifelong resident of Dublin?
So 20 years. I moved there 20 years ago. I grew up in San Diego and been here for 20 years.
So what's your education?
Yeah, I went to UCLA for my MBA.
Okay.
I'm a business guy.
Okay.
And so I love business, and I love promoting business.
Okay.
That's why so many people, the chambers of commerce, the small business owners, even the large corporations. I worked for IBM for a couple of years. I worked for Nestle Food Company,
Okay.
Large corporations, and they all support me for county supervisor now.
So you're living the American dream.
I try to, yeah.
That's good to know, because a lot of our immigrant community, that's what they hope when they reach America, that they can live this American dream.
You know, it's true. Also, I say that why do I serve the community? Also, I'm a family guy. So everybody should know I have my own family. 3 daughters that I raised in Dublin. Of course, I try to make the best school district for everybody's children, but for my own children as well. 3 daughters in the school district. All graduated now.
Okay.
They're out of the house. Some come back for a while, but they're very pleased that they grew up in Dublin. And I work hard for not only my family, but everybody's family. So I tell everybody I'm a husband, first, of my wife for 29 years. Also, I'm a father okay, of 3 daughters. Also, I'm a business guy. I have my own small business consulting company.
Okay.
After working for the big companies, I now have
Mm-hmm.
my own consulting, and on top of that, a community servant.
That's good. That's good to know. So you said 18 years of community service you have done. So you've been mayor, you have been a school board leader, trustee member. So what were the difficulties when you came into this position at that time?
Yes, I will tell you that the state of California, it's always a struggle to find the proper funding for
Mm.
education. So we had to work on creating local donations and even local school taxes for the local schools. So we raised money to rebuild the schools. We put hundreds of millions of dollars into rebuilding the old schools and building new schools.
Mm-hmm.
And that's one of the things that people love about Dublin, a great place for raising the family. So we raised money. We also provided new curriculum and teacher training and working very closely with our teachers to make sure that they're teaching the very best for the students.
Okay.
And of course, we support the students as much as possible.
So you talk a lot about education, school district, and business. So you're running for Alameda County Supervisor position. What are the basic duties of a supervisor?
Yeah. So a supervisor does all of the things that the cities don't do.
Hmm.
So the cities don't always have the human services needs. They
Okay.
don't have the emergency medical. They don't have the food banks. So we serve the community, the very lowest groups in the community that
Mhm.
really need help, that's struggling. The county is the one that should be working closely with the cities on homelessness, for example.
Hmm.
And I feel we must find a solution for homelessness. The problem has gotten way out of hand,
Mhm.
way out of control, and we must find better ways to serve the homeless and give them a way up and out of the homelessness and back into society. We must find better ways to treat their mental illness or to treat their addiction if they have a substance abuse addiction,
Mhm.
or treat their depression. We must find a way to bring them out of homelessness into a place where we can treat them, correct and help
So
them,
they can be part of society
bring
again.
them back into society.
So what
Yeah.
what are your plans? You say that you want to do it. How are you going to go about that?
Yeah, so I want to work very closely with the mental health and medical professionals in the community,
Mm-hmm.
but also with the people that can truly find them help. Right now, I find that too often we
Mm-hmm.
call the police, and the police have one job, and it's not to rehabilitate them.
True.
We need to find them, bring them to the place that will rehabilitate them, that
Mhm.
will find out the individual needs of that person. Every life, every person has their own unique story. They
Mhm.
have their own unique reason for why they're where they are. And we need
Mhm.
to find out how can we solve that person's problems. Because if we don't solve their problems, they will only become our problems as we see more and more people homeless, as we see more and more people breaking into cars or
Mm.
asking people for food on the corner. We must find better solutions. Here in America, this is not the expectation. We've
Mhm.
slipped into beyond our expectations, our worst expectations, I think. This is not America.
Yeah. So while being a mayor of Dublin, how did you tackle this problem?
Yes, we in Dublin, we have very low homeless rates.
Hmm.
Very low.
Mhm.
Much higher rates in Livermore, much
Hmm.
higher rates in Fremont.
Mhm.
And so we work very closely with.
So those are literally the neighboring cities. So sometimes these things spill into your city as well.
Yes, sometimes they do, and our police work very closely with our nonprofit organizations.
Mhm.
They don't just take them to the jail, they take them to the nonprofits to maybe help find a way out of addiction or a way out of the mental problems that they have. We
Mhm.
maybe put them in a hotel for a couple of days,
Mhm.
maybe find the services that they need. For veterans, we build affordable housing.
Mm.
We have a place for veterans they can come and move in to an apartment building, they can live there.
Hmm.
So we give veterans affordable housing. For families, we have family living in the Emerald Vista community, where they have daycare in the afternoon, even tutoring for their students, and reasonable, low, affordable rents.
Hmm.
Dublin is blessed that we have cost of living is lower than Fremont, for example.
Mm-hmm.
So we have a more affordable place to live. We also build enough homes so the people that can afford can buy a home because there's enough homes to be built. We're a very fast-growing city.
Yeah, so while being the mayor of the city of Dublin, there's a huge growth of Indian population. A lot of people from Sunnyvale, San Jose, all these areas, they go a little bit outside and they find your city.
Yes.
So how are you dealing with this?
Yes.
So do you feel blessed that these many people have come in?
Yes, so the diversity of Dublin has increased tremendously in the last 20 years. And I think it's great. And I welcome them with open arms. And in fact, I'm always liking to meet new people, find out about them, their history, their culture, find out about how they do things. And of course, every time we do that, the conversation always starts with things like education. And the Indian community really supports education. I really support education. So then we talk about other things that we like. We really like sports. And so they play cricket. So I learned to play a little cricket. I'm actually very good.
Really?
I found out. Yeah, I'm a good batsman.
Okay.
And I always go and award the winners the trophies and teach them and talk to them, all the students and the players. I tell them, you're all winners just because you play a sport, a team sport. You learn discipline, you learn teamwork, you learn camaraderie. Even if you didn't win the tournament, you're already a winner. And they love to play cricket. I love to watch them play cricket. Also, I go to some of the other places. I learned about kabaddi. Okay, what a great sport. Never heard about it before. But when you have an open mind and you talk to people and you listen to them and they show you and you ask questions and they want to show you about their culture, then you learn so much more. And then, of course, I have to say, the food. I love the food, and they always are giving me food, paneer or gobi or all kinds of
Vegetarian
delicious
stuff.
food.
Delicious.
Amazing.
Okay.
If I eat this food every day, I will gain so much weight. But we talk about food, and then, of course, we also talk about a lot of the festivals. So many holidays, so many festivals. It's amazing, and I go to all of them that I can. I'm pleased that I get invited to them. And I have so many great friends. So the last 20 years have been only blessings and good things. And here I have to say that I am proud to support the religious events that they have.
Okay.
I found out that the Sikh community was needing a place to worship in between building a new Gurdwara. So we give their community for free our city hall.
That's great.
Our place that we do our business in, City Hall, on Sunday becomes their place of worship, their Gurdwara temporary, okay? On the Sundays, they come in, they use the community room, they use the lobby area, and they are able to continue worship while they are building their renovating the Gurdwara in Livermore.
No, that's a great gesture. That's
And
a
no
great
cost,
sign.
free, and with open arms.
Yeah. So right now we are in the middle of America, which is being so divisive. It's either red or blue, there is nothing in between, and there comes this kind of story. It is really heartwarming, heart-touching to hear these kind of stories. This is what real America is all about.
Yes.
So my next question to you is like, based on this one, so being such a divisive time, how do you stay non-partisan?
Yes. I tell you that it's the best place to be for me, I think, is in the middle, away from both of the parties. And why do I say that? Because I like to bring people together. I like to bring the good things that both sides have good things on both sides, have very bad things on both sides. I
True.
pick the good, bring it together. So I have friends in the Democrat Party. I have friends in the Republican Party. And the things that I feel are good that bring us together, we should agree on the things that we agree on. And don't let the disagreements spoil that. So I like to bring together the good parts of both sides, come together with my friends on both sides and bring them together. And the only way we can do that is somebody in the middle, because one side doesn't like the other side, vice versa. Somebody in the middle can bring them together. Also, it's very difficult, though, because if you're not on one side or the other, then maybe they're not always for you 100%, right? So it's very difficult to be in the middle, but I think it's the best place to compromise and bring people together if you're in the middle. It's the only way.
Okay, I think I hope a lot more people think this way. Then it will be a really nice place because right now people just don't want to hear each other's stories or each other's things, opinions
I
in
find
matter.
if you do the right thing, it doesn't matter which
Hmm.
side you're on as long
True.
as it's the right thing. And I will tell you, though, of course, I'm a pro business guy. I'm pro safety. So I have the support and the endorsement of the sheriff, of the Police Officers Association from all over the district. They support me
Hmm.
because they know that I will support them to keep us all safe. The firefighters of Alameda County supporting me because they know that I support them.
Hmm.
Also, the business community, the chambers of commerce, and small business owners supporting me because they know I will support them. Also, the nonprofit organizations that are helping people that are struggling in need, they support me because they know that I support them. And the best way for me to do that is to just do the right thing always.
Okay.
Always doing the right thing.
Always doing the right thing. So, 6 years as a Dublin mayor, then he has been on the school board. So, ਸਰੋਤਿਓ ਅੱਜ ਜਿਹੜੀ ਆਪਣੀ ਇਸ ਮੌਕੇ ਗੱਲਬਾਤ ਜਿਹੜੀ ਉਹ ਚੱਲ ਰਹੀ ਆ ਮੌਜੂਦਾ ਡਬਲਿਨ ਸਿਟੀ ਦੇ ਮੇਅਰ ਡੇਵਿਡ ਹੌਬਰਟ ਉਹਨਾਂ ਦੇ ਨਾਲ ਜਿਹੜੇ ਕਿ ਅਲਾਮੀਡਾ ਕਾਉਂਟੀ ਸੁਪਰਵਾਈਜ਼ਰ ਦੀ ਪੋਜੀਸ਼ਨ ਦੇ ਲਈ ਰਨ ਕਰ ਰਹੇ ਨੇ ਨਵੰਬਰ ਦੀਆਂ ਜਿਹੜੀਆਂ ਇਲੈਕਸ਼ਨਸ ਦੇ ਵਿੱਚ। ਸੋ ਅਲਾਮੀਡਾ ਕਾਉਂਟੀ ਦੇ ਵਿੱਚ ਜਿਹੜੇ ਜਿਹੜੇ ਵੀ ਸ਼ਹਿਰ ਆਉਂਦੇ ਆ ਜਿਹੜੇ ਜਿਨ੍ਹਾਂ ਨੇ ਮੇਲ ਇਨ ਐਬਸੈਂਟੀ ਬੈਲਟ ਕੀਤੇ ਹੋਏ ਆ, ਤੁਸੀਂ ਇਸ ਰੇਸ ਦੇ ਵਿੱਚ ਇਹਨਾਂ ਦਾ ਨਾਮ ਜਿਹੜਾ ਉਹ ਦੇਖੋਗੇ ਅਤੇ ਇਹਨਾਂ ਦੇ ਜਿਹੜੇ ਓਪੋਨੈਂਟ ਆ ਉਹਨਾਂ ਦਾ ਨਾਮ ਵੀ ਦੇਖੋਗੇ। ਸੋ ਅੱਜ ਸਾਡਾ ਮਕਸਦ ਇਹੀ ਆ ਵੀ ਤੁਸੀਂ ਇਹਨਾਂ ਦੇ ਬਾਰੇ ਥੋੜ੍ਹਾ ਹੋਰ ਜਾਣੋ ਤਾਂ ਜੋ ਜਦੋਂ ਵੀ ਤੁਸੀਂ ਆਪਣਾ ਡਿਸੀਜਨ ਜਿਹੜਾ ਬਣਾਉਣਾ ਹੈ, ਜਿਸ ਨੂੰ ਵੀ ਤੁਸੀਂ ਵੋਟ ਪਾਉਣਾ ਚਾਹੁੰਦੇ ਹੋ, ਤੁਸੀਂ ਉਹ ਇਹਨਾਂ ਦੀਆਂ ਸਾਰਿਆਂ ਦੀਆਂ ਜਿਹੜੀਆਂ ਗੱਲਾਂ ਸੁਣ ਕੇ ਫਿਰ ਆਪਣੀ ਜਿਹੜੀ ਆ ਉਹ ਵੋਟ ਤੁਸੀਂ ਬਣਾ ਸਕੋ। So David, we were talking about homelessness. That kind of spills into public safety issue as well. You're saying you've been endorsed by most of the public safety agencies in your area. Right now, it's that kind of time that everybody is scared, everybody is worried about public safety. So what are the steps you want to take to make sure that is your number one priority?
Yeah, so I will say that's a very big point of difference between me and my opponent.
Mhm.
I want to make sure that we support public safety, that we protect the funding for public safety, that
Mhm.
we augment the funding to bring in more services like mental health, but not to take away from the people that are keeping us safe. That's why
Mhm.
the sheriff endorses me, but that's also why the business leaders support me. Business leaders want to have a safe community. That's why the nonprofits support me. They want to have a safe community. They don't want to have lawlessness. They don't want to have increased crime, increased smash and grab the windows of cars and
Mhm.
things like that. That's why business leaders like my good friend Joe Johal and Inder Dozanj and so many others, Anil Yadav and TJ Dami, very much supporting me because they also want to have a safe community. And safety is always, we must feel safe in order to be the best people that we can be. So safety is always number one for me. If things are unsafe, then we can't function.
Okay.
Yeah.
So as a supervisor, if you are elected with this, there's a big budget on your hands, about $3.5 billion for this county.
Yeah.
So how are you going to make sure that there is financial accountability in this one?
Yes, it's a huge budget that we have, and it's everybody's taxes coming
True.
together. Everybody should be watching how we spend our dollars.
Mhm.
For me, it's always about the true metrics of success. What are we trying to accomplish with our dollars? And the accomplishment should not be how many people did we arrest. The metric should be how many people did we help, and did we
Mhm.
truly help them? And if we help them, do they stay helped? And not we help them one day and they're back on the streets again the next day. So I always look for matching up the right business metrics, the key performance indicators, with the budget. So what do we spend the money on, and how can we measure that it's successful, and not just that we spend the money the same amount every year. Instead, what are we getting for our money? And also, I look at every single thing that we spend money on. If we spent money last year, does it mean we still have to spend the same amount this year? What if it's finished? We can move on to something better. We don't have to keep spending the same money year in and year out on the same programs. We want to improve, increase the return of our budgets. And so that's one of the things that I have an advantage in having an MBA, in having managed budgets before, in having to manage, I mentioned the school district budgets are always being cut. We're always being careful about how we spend our money, making sure that we get the best possible return. Alameda County has a big budget. We have to spend it effectively.
Okay. So that's a good point you put in. So, as a citizen of Alameda County right now, where do you see that the county is spending, like not watching how they're spending?
Yeah, I think that we will have to be cutting because of COVID. We will have to see budget cuts, I'm sure, for the next 3 to 5 years. I always like to prioritize the spending that's happening on the lowest person that needs the help the most. So the homeless people, the people that are in the hospitals, that are working the emergency rooms, that are working people with serious needs. We have to find ways to spend money more effectively and to protect the funding for them. I'm sure every time you look, and I don't have the details of the individual budget expenditures, but we will look at every single item that we spend money on and decide, does it truly meet our mission? And in fact, we will rank prioritize. I like to rank prioritize everything we spend. Is it a high priority or a medium priority or a low priority? Low priority is okay if you have enough money. But when you don't have enough money, then you must eliminate low priority spending before you eliminate high priority spending. I don't have enough information about the details of the budget, but always we will find every time low priority things that can be cut.
Okay. So, how hard has COVID affected your campaigning?
COVID has been such a terrible thing for campaigns because I love to meet people in person. I love to shake their hand, give them a hug, knock on their door, ring their doorbell. I walk hundreds of homes every election, thousands of homes. Now that's more difficult. We can't do that. So we adapt. Very much Zoom meetings, Zoom calls, also things like the radio, things like digital advertising that we will do, things like mail will be even so much more important now. But the most difficult part is I can't come together as a community. Even the churches can't come together, right? So we have to be on Zoom for that. It's very difficult because I'm a people guy. I like to meet people, and you can't do that now. It's very difficult. So this election will be very different than others. It will be still, though, so important, so much at stake for this election because it's such an important position that I will be working very hard to win this race.
Okay. So, is this only one vacancy right now over there for this position?
Yes. So there's no term limits for county supervisor. The county supervisor has been in that position for 24 years, and he's done a great job. Nobody ever challenges him because he does a good job and he's a strong leader. And Scott Haggerty is our current county supervisor. He's retiring. So he's choosing to leave the position, and he endorses me to take over the position. He has seen me lead in Dublin. He, in fact, lived in Dublin for many years. His children went to school in the Dublin schools because he knows that we've built a great school district. He knows me very well. He knows the job very well. He chooses me to take over for him when he retires. So I'm very proud of that. Another county supervisor is Nate Miley. He also endorses me for this position. Over half of the mayors in Alameda County, the mayor of Hayward, the mayor of San Leandro, Livermore, Pleasanton, Alameda, Piedmont, these mayors, Newark mayor, also endorses me for this position. Mayors must work very closely with the supervisors.
True.
They choose me to be the next supervisor.
Okay. So we know that Bay Area is now crowded. There's a lot of traffic. So Alameda County suffers the most, I would say, right? What are your plans on in this traffic situation?
Yes, we have to bring more jobs from Santa Clara and the city out to the areas like Fremont, like the Tri-Valley areas of Dublin and Livermore and Pleasanton.
Mm-hmm.
Fremont is a victim of the cut-through traffic.
True.
The only way to eliminate that is to stop the cut-through. We must move the jobs to where people live. And so I'm a big believer, and I already have done this in Dublin several times, moving companies from Palo Alto, for example, to Dublin, where people live. You improve their quality of life for them. They don't have as long a commute. You improve the quality of life for Fremont because you don't cut through their community.
Mm-hmm.
Fremont is a victim that we must alleviate the cut-through traffic by moving jobs, but also by making roads wider and bigger. And here I've sat on the Alameda County Transportation Commission
Mm-hmm.
and have helped create projects that alleviate traffic, like the widening of the freeways and adding more lanes and making, in fact, also Valley Link, also improving the BART lines and adding
Mm-hmm.
track for BART, adding stations for BART. And that often goes through the Alameda County Transportation Commission, which
Mm-hmm.
I've served on for 6 years. So I've served next to the county supervisors for the
Mm-hmm.
last 6 years. I know the job that they have to do, and I know that I can do it as a supervisor.
Mm.
So again, a combination of moving jobs and of improving transportation
Infrastructure.
corridors. Yeah.
Okay, so people get fed up whenever there is road work happening. They take a very long time. This is
Yeah.
this is the position of every commuter. So how are you going to address that?
No pain, no gain. Unfortunately, it's no pain, no gain.
We want the gain,
Yeah.
but why take so long?
I know. That is one thing I don't know enough about. How to make things faster, or
Mhm.
even they're also. I should tell you, they're very expensive. That's just the way it is. To get good quality work takes time, takes money. I've heard that it takes time, it takes money, and or you have a high quality, or you can have two out of the three. You have, if you want high quality, it's going to take time and it's going to cost money. In fact, I also support the ACE train and Caltrain and providing funding for more lines of service,
Mhm.
for faster trains, but also more frequent trains. In addition to the trains, bus service. Some people need to take the bus to get around town to get
Mhm.
to these places. So I work in the Tri-Valley on the train, on the bus system for improving the routing and improving the quality of the transportation to BART and to your place of employment. But
Okay.
I promise to tell you, you cannot build the freeways wide enough or the trains long enough. We must move the jobs. That's the only way to do it.
Will Santa Clara be happy with that?
I will have
You have
very
to work.
difficult conversations with my friends in
Hmm.
Santa Clara. But it's, what did I say in the beginning? Always to do the right thing.
True.
And it is the right thing to alleviate cut-through traffic at Fremont and protect them. It is the right thing to reduce the commute time of people by moving the jobs closer to where they live. It is the right thing to rebalance. And so we will have difficult conversations. But if life were perfect, we wouldn't have to do that.
True.
We know it's not. But I will say that great communities, they don't come up by accident.
Mm.
They're made by people that are dedicated, that work hard, that have a very clear vision, and that are able to communicate that vision to others. They don't just happen overnight by luck. Great communities are built by great leaders. And that's why I'm very happy with my track record. Dublin continues to be a great place to live, work, and raise a family. It didn't happen overnight, but I've been there for 18 years making it happen. And that's why I see so many people moving to Dublin. And you're right, they move there often from Sunnyvale and Santa Clara and even Fremont, moving to Dublin. And we must keep them with jobs there so that they don't have to drive back into the peninsula through Fremont.
Yeah, that was going to be my next question. So there's an exodus happening right now in most populated counties in Bay Area, especially, people want to move out of here. It's getting so expensive, it's basically unlivable. So what are you going to be doing for your county so that people don't have to move out?
Yeah, so I think that technology through COVID is terrible, the pandemic is terrible, but in every crisis there are opportunities.
True.
One of the best opportunities, I think, is continued remote working. So technology allows us to work more remotely, and that I think will bring more companies to move out to the Tri Valley, or for people to be able to stay out in the Tri Valley or the Fremont area without having to drive in to the office every day. We will adapt and we will use the benefits of technology to help make our lives better. I know that people are struggling right now, even with school and their children with distance learning, and
True.
that will continue to be a struggle. But for work, the workers that can continue to work from home, that can continue to want to move out of the crowded city into a less populated area, we welcome them with open arms. Dublin has more places to grow
Mm-hmm.
and will continue to grow until the general plan is done. We are operating under a general plan that was made in the 90s
Mm.
that has a 30-year growth plan,
Okay.
and we still have a way to go.
Okay.
All planned out in the 90s.
Okay. So 30 years are basically ending this year. So
Yeah.
you guys have to work on the new things as well.
Yeah.
So you're saying you're very pro-business. In our community, a lot of our community members, they are small business owners. So how are you going to support them or help them flourish more?
So during this pandemic, we've given non-forgivable loans for small businesses.
Mm-hmm.
That's only temporary because of the COVID, but ongoing, we have to have small business support from the county, how to run a small business. For me, I like to get rid of the red tape
Mm-hmm.
that does not help people, but only for government regulations. If we can eliminate regulations, I would prefer to eliminate them if possible. If we can eliminate fees and things that hold business people back, then I would be for doing that. I want to free up the person that wants to be an entrepreneur to
Mm-hmm.
be able to be an entrepreneur. Focus on serving their customers and less on government regulations.
Okay. So you always talk a lot about your school district or education in general. Teachers, they are not earning enough. So that's the biggest complaint. They work hard. There are so many stories out there that teachers from their own salary are spending so that their students can learn better. How are you going to take care of this thing?
Yes, we have to. I know that schools cannot do it alone. Schools must work with their community. That's why, even as mayor, I work to give the school district resources wherever we can, knowing that the schools live in good communities. Good communities are made by good schools. So I say we have to support them with additional funding to support them. No teacher should spend out of their limited resources. I know it happens, but I think we should ask the parents, ask the community to come in, even ask people that don't have kids in school anymore to show them the benefits of having a strong community is related to having a strong school district. So when I was on the school board, I always went to people, they don't have kids in school, but I say it's to your benefit to help support the schools.
Hmm.
Schools cannot do it alone. There's never enough funding. But you bring up the salary and you bring up the cost of living. And it's very important. I would like to see more of our affordable housing stock go to teachers so they can live in the communities that they teach in. I believe if a teacher lives in the community that they teach in, the community will be stronger. They will spend more time at school helping students. They will feel more community pride in their schools. If they live there, they won't be as tired traveling so
True.
much. So I would like to see more teachers living in the community. I'm proud that in Dublin, many teachers live in or near the community. In fact, at Dublin High School,
Mm-hmm.
many teachers grew up and went to Dublin High School.
Hmm.
So they have a tremendous pride in the community, a tremendous pride in their school. That makes them become better teachers.
Okay.
Very proud of that.
Okay. So that's good to know. So ਸਰੋਤਿਓ ਆਪਣੀ ਗੱਲਬਾਤ ਜਿਹੜੀ ਉਹ ਚੱਲ ਰਹੀ ਆ ਡੇਵਿਡ ਹੌਬਰਟ ਜਿਹੜੇ ਕਿ ਮੌਜੂਦਾ ਡਬਲਿਨ ਸਿਟੀ ਦੇ ਜਿਹੜੇ ਮੇਅਰ ਨੇ ਤੇ ਇਸ ਮੌਕੇ Alameda County Supervisor ਦੀ ਪੋਜੀਸ਼ਨ ਦੇ ਲਈ ਇਹ ਰਨ ਕਰ ਰਹੇ ਨੇ so David when are the mail-in or absentee ballots going to be in people's hand so where they can get more information about you?
Yes, that's a great question. And I will say, first of all, everybody that can register to vote must register to vote. Maybe you just moved here. Maybe you never thought it was important before. Register to vote. And they can register to vote online at acgov.org or the Alameda County Registrar of Voters. They can do it online very simply. Then this year will be, because of COVID, very different election.
True.
Everybody will be mailed a ballot. So in the past, if you want a ballot mailed to you, you can request it, but otherwise you go vote on the day of the election and you get your ballot there. Not this time. Today, everybody will be mailed a ballot on October 5th.
In California.
In California, yes, in California.
Yes.
I'm more focused on my race, yeah, in Alameda County.
Yeah, okay.
But you don't have to turn it in right away. You can mail it right away back. So everybody on October 5th should be watching the mailbox.
Okay.
Did I get my ballot? Maybe it comes on the 6th, maybe it comes on the 7th, but the first day possible will be October 5th, a very big day. People can then mail it back, or they can wait and bring it back on the day of the election. There will be drop boxes around the county. You can find mostly at the city hall or maybe at the library or other community places. They will have a drop box. You can drop it off.
Will there be polling stations?
There will also be polling stations, not the same ones as before, drastically reduced in number, but there will be polling stations. And this time, you can go to any polling station in the county and still vote. If you lost your ballot, you can show up. They will give you a ballot that day. Those take a little longer to count, okay, because they have to verify that it's your proper ballot. It's the right ballot, that you vote for the things in your jurisdiction. But you can still go vote that day. But for the most part, the vast majority will receive the ballot in the mail around October 5th, and they can mail it back anytime. Of course, with the post office, I recommend you don't wait till the last day.
Yeah, there's a lot of controversy happening with USPS right now. So what do you recommend, like in generally, like if they receive the ballot, what should be the earliest they should be sending it back?
What I do is I will probably take it back November 3rd and put it at City Hall. Okay. Because Dropbox that day, if you want to wait till the last minute, some people like to wait and see. I will probably, this time, 1 week before, mail it in. I've been to visit the Registrar of Voters at Alameda County, watching how they open the envelopes, how they separate the ballot, how they run the ballot through the machine and count hundreds at a time, and how they tabulate. And everything is run very well. Our Registrar of Voters does a great job to make sure that every ballot is counted. If they have a discrepancy, they can look up online the signature and make sure it's the right signature. They do a great job.
Okay.
Yep.
That's awesome. That's good to know. And where can they find more information about the candidate, David?
Oh, they should go to my website, davidhaubert.com. David, H-A-U-B, like boy, E-R-T.com. Of course, I would like to say to all the people that if I am elected, my promise is that I will always have an open door, ready to listen. I will always have an open mind, ready to hear what you have to say, and I will always be open to taking action, to solving problems, to making things happen. I will tell you that that's how I've always led, that's how I will always lead, and I hope to be the best Alameda County Supervisor that I can be, and I respect everybody's and support for me on October 5th or November 3rd, wherever they vote.
Okay. One last question I would like to ask. In our community, there are a lot of elderly people. They do not know English. They're not proficient in it. So how are you going to support them? There are many programs of county which are running, but sometimes they are left out because they don't understand or they are unable to know about the program. So how are you going to make sure that our elderly people, especially who are not proficient in English, they get to know about this program?
Yes, elderly and seniors are very important and much need much respect. They're the ones that built our society, that raised us, and now we must give them the respect that they need to serve them in the senior centers, to make sure that they're not on the streets, to make sure that we feed them when they need food, to make sure that we respect them. That also means that we must allow them to vote, and that means we must keep things in their language. Alameda County has, I think, over 50 different languages that they serve, and I would say that anybody that needs a ballot to be in their own home language, I'm sure that we are finding ways to serve that. But I will always remain committed to supporting and respecting our seniors through senior programs, through food delivery. In fact, with COVID, it's even more important that homebound seniors, sometimes they can't get out of their home. We deliver food to them. People with special disabilities, maybe they're in a wheelchair. In this COVID time, I was adding them to the list of food deliveries for meals, lunch, and dinner because they can't get out of their apartments. So we find ways to serve those with special disabilities and those that are elderly. But you bring up a really good point. Those that have language needs, Alameda County does a great job.
Okay. In the last, why should people support you?
I think people should support me because they see that I have the experience, the proven experience over 18 years of doing great work as a community leader. They should support me because they know that I'm trusted by the current people that are in the seat on the county supervisor and all of the rest of the mayors and other community leaders that are supporting me. So they can trust my track record, they can trust all of the other people that support me, and then I think because they know I'm a family guy, I'm a business guy, I'm a people guy, that I align very well, opening, welcoming guy, that they will find that I align with their interests more than my opponent.
All right. Thank you very much, David Haubert. Thank you for giving us your valuable time.
Yes, thank you. And I have to say, ਧੰਨਵਾਦ.
Oh, that's good to know. That's good to know. ਧੰਨਵਾਦ ਤੇ ਸ਼ੁਭ ਸ਼ਾਮਾਂ ਤੁਹਾਨੂੰ। ਤੁਸੀਂ ਜਿਹੜਾ ਆਉਣ ਵਾਲੇ ਸਮੇਂ ਦੇ ਵਿੱਚ ਕਾਮਯਾਬ ਹੋਵੋ। ਸੋ ਸਰੋਤਿਓ, ਆਪਾਂ ਗੱਲਬਾਤ ਕਰ ਰਹੇ ਸੀਗੇ ਡਬਲਿਨ ਦੇ ਮੇਅਰ ਡੇਵਿਡ ਹਾਬਰਟ ਉਹਨਾਂ ਦੇ ਨਾਲ। ਸੋ ਇਹ ਇਸ ਮੌਕੇ ਜਿਹੜੇ ਸੁਪਰਵਾਈਜ਼ਰ ਦੀ ਪੋਜੀਸ਼ਨ ਦੇ ਲਈ ਐਲਾਮੀਡਾ ਕਾਊਂਟੀ ਦੀ ਸੁਪਰਵਾਈਜ਼ਰ ਪੋਜੀਸ਼ਨ ਦੇ ਇਲੈਕਸ਼ਨ ਰਨ ਕਰ ਰਹੇ ਆ। ਆਈ ਥਿੰਕ ਵਿਨੀ ਬੇਕਨ ਇਹਨਾਂ ਦੇ ਜਿਹੜੇ ਓਪੋਨੈਂਟ ਜਿਹੜੇ ਉਹ ਹੈਗੇ ਆ। ਸੋ ਇਹਨਾਂ ਦੀ ਤੁਸੀਂ ਵਿਚਾਰ ਸੁਣੇ ਆ। ਸੋ ਤੁਸੀਂ ਜਿਹੜੀ ਵੋਟ ਜਿਹੜੀ ਜ਼ਰੂਰ ਪਾਉਣੀ ਆ, ਵੋਟ ਜਿਹਨੂੰ ਮਰਜ਼ੀ ਪਾਓ, whoever you want to vote, but vote definitely vote for someone, whoever aligns with your ਥਿੰਗ, ਜਿਹਦੇ ਨਾਲ ਵੀ ਤੁਹਾਡੇ ਵਿਚਾਰ ਜਿਹੜੇ ਉਹ ਮਿਲਦੇ ਹੈਗੇ, ਉਹਦੇ ਨਾਲ ਜਿਹੜੀ ਉਹ ਵੋਟ ਪਾਓ। ਸੋ ਇਹ ਸੀਗੇ ਜਿਹੜੇ ਡੇਵਿਡ ਹਾਬਰਟ। ਸੋ ਹੁਣ ਅੱਜ ਦਾ ਪ੍ਰੋਗਰਾਮ ਨੂੰ ਮੈਂ ਇੱਥੇ ਹੀ ਸਮਾਪਤ ਕਰਦਾ ਹਾਂ। ਥੈਂਕ ਯੂ ਡੇਵਿਡ ਵਨਸ ਅਗੇਨ ਫॉर ਕਮਿੰਗ ਟੂ ਆਵਰ। ਸਤਿ ਸ਼੍ਰੀ ਅਕਾਲ। ਸੋ ਸਰੋਤਿਓ, ਇੱਥੇ ਹੀ ਜਿਹੜਾ ਅੱਜ ਦਾ ਇਹ ਪ੍ਰੋਗਰਾਮ ਸਮਾਪਤ ਆ। ਮੇਰੇ ਵੱਲੋਂ ਵੀ ਤੁਹਾਨੂੰ ਸਾਰਿਆਂ ਨੂੰ ਪਿਆਰ ਭਰੀ ਨਿੱਘੀ ਸਤਿ ਸ਼੍ਰੀ ਅਕਾਲ। ਸੁਣਦੇ ਰਹੋ ਪੰਜਾਬੀ ਰੇਡੀਓ USA।